Internazionale Milano in 2026 has been an absolute duality. It's been an absolute dual experience associating yourselves with Inter Milan this year. On one end, we are on the cusp of a phenomenal season, of a phenomenal achievement, which has been made even more incredible with a new coach and a new sort of drive into the team, or supposed new drive. On the other hand, there are cracks, there are problems, and there are obstacles in our way that could lead us into absolute nothing at the end of the season. It's been a sort of duality at the club that we look dominant in some periods, and in other periods we look absolutely susceptible to failure. So the state of the club's at a flux, and I will try to make the best of that flux heading into the run-in at the end of the season, and maybe even the cup final at the end of the horizon. Hi, I'm the Football Otaku, and welcome to this video. In this video, I will be more or less, it's the state of Inter address. It's more like where Inter stand this season, 2025-2026. What has been our positives? What has been our negatives? What have we got right? What have we got wrong? What we can achieve and what we must avoid leading into the end of the season. Of course, if you guys are loving the content, don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe, and all that wonderful stuff. If you guys are wondering, I am an Interisti. I'm an Inter supporter. I may not always show it on this channel. I just don't want to turn this into an Inter propaganda channel, but yeah, it's very rare that I do a video on Inter. But I mean, here we are, and here we go. So enough posturing. In this video, I will mention where the team stands at this current point on the pitch, where are the goods of this season, what have been the bad so far of the season, in terms of on and off the pitch, who I think our best players are this season, our best performers, who have been our worst performers, and what do we expect from now to the end of the campaign. So without further ado, let's get started, starting with... So with this season, with this part, I will talk about the two sort of positives that I've seen at Inter this season. And one would be that we're actually challenging for trophies. I mean, this season was really meant to be a transitional season for Inter. I mean, it was meant to be a real transitional season. Many would have felt last season was sort of the end of an era. I mean, it was the end of an era at Inter. Suning, of course, had left our previous ownership. Last season was our first season under our new ownership, which is Oak Tree. A lot of the players were sort of starting to be phased out, and the Inzaghi years were now in the past. So this season really felt like a real sort of refresh, or should be a real refresh for the club, especially after a new coach like Christian Kivu coming in, a few new guys coming in as well. This was meant to be a transitional season, a season where we're not really supposed to challenge for trophies, but more to solidify top four and solidify our place as a Champions League participants. So to see us be in this position where we could still possibly win the double is something that's been truly impressive. And you could say I've really been impressed with some of the players. I've really been impressed with some of the staff of the team, and especially with Kivu himself. I mean, a new coach. Yes, he's a treble hero with us, but I mean, he's still largely inexperienced. This is his first big club, and he's come in and he's been able to trust in youth, trust in a lot of some of our younger talent, give them some of a run as well. Remember, at one point he was our Primavera coach, which is U23s, and he's been able to give and bond with some of those younger U23 players, and he's been able to transition them to the senior side. And for an Inter team that's still sort of refreshing, we're still in the process of refreshing, to still keep up that standard of challenging for the league and challenging for the championship, and the Coppa Italia is still a very, very big positive that I've seen from the club and I've seen from Kivu, and I've been very, very impressed, and I've been so very happy to see as well that a lot of young talent is coming through into the club, something that's so badly needed, and a coach like him who is still very new to, should I say, A-list coaching, and to lead this Inter team, to the position it is, has been quite fantastic from Kivu as well. So that's been the one positive, has been, even though this has been a transitional year, not only have we still been competitive, but we've been on form and been in form in terms of challenging for the big titles. We're still in the big arguments for the big trophies at this juncture of the campaign. Another positive, I would say, and okay, this sort of expands on the first one as well, but I'll go deeper, is that there's been a lot of the sort of young talent, or there's been a lot of good young talent that has sort of come through the team and have made a bit of an impact. One of the sort of huge concerns of last season, especially near the run-in, was that our squad was a little bit old. It's aged. It's not a lot of guys in the young guys in the big positions anymore. Not a lot of, you could tell even some of our games, we looked very fatigued, especially near the end of the campaign. We looked very fatigued and very run down. I mean, the Barcelona game took so much out of us, and so did the Scudetto sort of chase at the end. I mean, games against Lazio as well really took a lot out of us, and we've really needed a sort of refresh in certain places, and we've been able to get that refresh as well this season. I'll be mentioning some of these young players as well, such as Pio Esposito, who came and really, I mean, he had a bit of hype towards him, but there have been some critics of him. I mean, someone who's only really played in Serie B, hasn't made much of an impact in Serie A, but he's come into the league, he's come into the team, and has come in clutch with a lot of big moments for us, getting a lot of big goals, and has sort of started to turn into the mold of someone contributing to big moments at Inter. And that has been something that has been very important, very much lacking for us, and really a growth in depth, which was something I actually have complained about for a couple of years, that we don't have a lot of depth, young depth in a lot of important places. So seeing that has been a lot of growth, and that's been very, very positive. Other positive additions have been likes of Petar Sucic. He's come into the team and has made a positive impact more often than not, as well, into the team, and especially younger players have started coming in. We've brought down that age, the average age, and we have much younger, more energetic players in these positions that were very much held by the more older, more experienced talent. And it helps that we have a very youth-orientated coach in Kivu, who's been able to facilitate this growth and facilitate, bringing the younger guys in and giving them chances, and they've paid him back with a lot of big moments as well, scoring big goals and big moments throughout the campaign, which is why we're in this position of being top in Serie A with a bit of a gap on us. So it's been very, very good. It's very a positive outlook as well, positive look in that as well, and that we're sort of bringing that age down. We've got a new fresh young team sort of on the horizon, and that the standards still have not dropped. The standard to succeed has not dropped, and we still look like a championship winning team, and a team that can score in big championship moments that we need to succeed in. Though there's not all, it's not all sunshine and rainbows in the blue and black side of the city. There's always a sense of negativity as well, and there are two negatives. And the one negative I definitely feel we have is we still have this problem of not winning the big games, not doing it when it matters in the big matches. I mean, of course, we had this problem, and this hasn't been a problem that's been solely down to Kivu. I mean, in Inzaghi's last year in charge, we didn't win the derby, we didn't win against Juventus or Napoli, a lot of our direct title rivals, and we dropped very important points in certain games that sadly derailed our championship hopes. I mean, I don't need to remind Inter fans about the now 7 games, as per time of recording, 7 games we failed to win the Milan derby, and the painful games like Lazio at home on the final home game of the season, Lazio at home, dropping points there, losing to Milan in the Coppa semi-finals, and the less said about Munich, the better. It's been a problem that Inzaghi had, and now it's sort of bled into Kivu, where we've struggled to win the big games. Again, we played Milan, we still can't beat them in the league. I mean, we sadly lost the double to AC Milan. Juventus, we've only won one. Against Napoli, we again failed to pick up results against Napoli. It's a problem that has become a bit of a mental issue now at the team, especially with these big pressure important games that are coming up. I mean, if you look at the league, we got Roma and we got Como coming up, not just in the cup but in the league. These are two sides that are chasing top 4 and chasing Champions League, and are very, very dangerous sides. And you can tell that as well with our form sort of curtailing as well. It comes with our form curtailing as well. It comes with the failure to win these big games and win these big moments. Even in UEFA Champions League, though I don't really follow the competition that much anymore for my personal reasons, we couldn't win the ones that matter. I mean, we couldn't beat Arsenal. We lost at home to Arsenal, controversially lost at home to Liverpool, and then Bodo Glimt happened. And it's really a problem that we need to arrest very, very quickly, because now there's going to be big games. There are big games piling up practically everywhere at this point. Big derby games, big important matches coming up, and I really thought we had turned this corner when we beat Juventus in February, but again now it's reared its ugly head. And even on top of that, in the Super Cup, where we lost to Bologna in the semi-finals on penalties, again, it's something that we need to arrest really, really quickly. And I feel that it started to bleed into the team now, that we can't win these big games, and that now there's sort of this almost phobia that we always seem to get the big games wrong, whether it's down to tactics or coaching or even down to mentality. We just can't do the extra. We can't do the extra mile, and we're now sort of starting to develop this bottle job syndrome, which is very, very concerning for us, and something that we have to deal with really, really quickly, because if we don't, we're going to finish another season trophyless. And I mean, last season of course was a bit of a blip. I mean, it was our first trophyless season in years. I mean, but to finish trophyless again, it's not going to be a good look. A lot of questions are going to be asked, and it's just not going to feel good amongst the fans or the players. It's going to start feeling really infuriating at this point. I mean, last season was fine, but if it happens again, it just really starts getting infuriating for the supporters, and it has to be something that we have to improve later on as the season goes on, even to next season as well. We must start winning the big ones again. We have to start beating Juventus at home at least. We have to win back the derby at some point eventually, because this is getting really, really difficult now. This is getting very, very tough for us now to win these games. A second sort of negativity or negative aspect I have has been the sort of perceived lack of involvement I've seen from Oak Tree. I mean, this is probably for me personally, I might be getting this one absolutely wrong, but from what I've seen with Oak Tree, I don't see a lot of involvement from Oak Tree. I mean, unlike with the old days with Suning, there was a lot of involvement in the team. There was a lot of investment in the team. There was a lot of investment into the team. There was a lot of players coming in. Of course, the pandemic didn't help as well, but we always seem to find a way to refresh our team and bring new guys into the team for us to stay competitive. With Oak Tree, despite all the money, I don't see really a perceived lack of. I see a real perceived lack of support, and so much so that in the January window, we didn't make any signings. We didn't bring anyone in, and as much as we do have a squad, it's a squad that can be stretched really thin, really fast, and it's as if they've learned nothing from last season. Because one of the reasons why last season we really faltered was because we were stretched very, very thin last season. I mean, we had games piling up on the regular because we were in the league, we're challenging for the championship, we were in the Coppa Italia, we were in the Champions League, and then our rivals Napoli only actually played the league because they weren't in Europe this season. So I feel for Oak Tree, the lack of investment in the team, especially at this juncture of the season, has been very, very infuriating. It's been very, very frustrating to see, for me personally, because it's as if these guys have not learned their lesson from last season. I felt that from last season we really wanted to change our sort of approach, because that's what really, that's how we got really found out last season, having such an aged team, such an old team. I mean, as much as I don't want to talk about Munich, as much as the fans don't want to talk about Munich, that's one of the reasons why PSG ran us off the park, because we were very old and very aged, while PSG had young, zippy, attacking players that we just couldn't keep them quiet. They were just running riot, and we just couldn't slow them down, not with the players we had. So I feel we need more involvement from Oak Tree. Maybe, it's down to probably financial fair play or financial regulations, but from this season we need to start getting some new guys in immediately. I was so disappointed we missed out on Ademola Lookman, but we need to start getting new guys in immediately. We need to start getting new players in now, because now Kivu needs to start building his own team and building his own project. And also now we need to stay competitive, because we're going to get stretched thin in these competitions, and we need to start building with young, good talent coming up in the league and in Serie A, and maybe even abroad, because I feel now with the lack of investment, it's going to be so difficult to challenge from now to challenge in the future. So I feel we so badly need more involvement from Oak Tree, and especially down to Kivu. Show him that you're willing to back him and support his project, and show it to the fans as well, because it really starts to get infuriating when we see the perceived lack of support, especially after everything we experienced last year and everything that went wrong last year. We need you to show us that you've learned your lesson from last year, and that you want to improve and bring this team forward. That's why you got us, remember? That's why you brought us, remember? So that's just my concern as well, or my sort of negative aspects as well, with what's going on in the ownership departments. Now down to the players, and I'm probably going to have a short little award, or definitely recognize some of the players from the season more positively. My so far rookie of the season, when I say rookie, I mean debut season at the club, and that award goes to Ange Bonny. The new guy who came in, we got him in. He's been a really good player. He's really played his part this season, and he's really stood up as sort of a young substitute striker, someone who's definitely turned up. Remember that there was that one period in the season where Marcus Thuram got injured and was out for like 4 games, and Ange Bonny came in and was hungry, and he scored. I think he scored in all 4 of those games where Thuram was out. He's shown hunger. He's found the back of the net quite regularly, although his form has dipped as well. you could say that about the entire team as well, but he's really been someone who stood up when it was his opportunity. When he took his chance very, very well, and has definitely positively affected the team, especially for a new player coming in. And I feel maybe in the future, probably in the near distant future, he could be part of the new sort of starts at Inter. He could really be one of the sort of more prominent players at the club in the near distant future. my overall player of the season so far, I think you can't look past Freddy DiMarco. You can't look past Federico DiMarco. He's been our player of the season. I mean, he's had an impact in so many matches, not just with scoring the odd goal, but his assist, the spraying of passes across the park, being able to sort of connect with our top two, with Lautaro and Thuram when they can, and he's been really at the forefront of everything positive Inter have done this season, and it's been quite a glow up for him as well. I mean, again, like I said, I don't want to talk about Munich an awful lot, but he really had a disastrous night in Munich, and to see him have that night and to come back this season and to be really one of the top influential players, not just in the team but in all of Serie A, has been pretty wonderful to see. And even I've said, if we do win the league, then I think DiMarco is the undisputed MVP. He's going to be the league's MVP at the end of the campaign, and he's definitely going to be one of the sort of star names, one of the star guys for us going forward. And it's so great to see, especially after the sort of disastrous end to the season he had. It'll be really great to see him bounce back and sort of regain his place as one of the top guys at this team and one of the top sort of players in Serie A. Now I'm going to shine, just as I shone a light to some of our top performers, I also will have to shed a light on some of our more negative performers. Now, this is not necessarily criticism, or I'm not really trying to bring these players down, but it's just more just a way to see, but more just a way of it's like a father reprimanding a child, you know, like, we know you can do better. You're not doing good so far, but we know you can do better. The rookie I feel who has to improve has to be Andy Diouf. Now, I'm a little bit harsh on this one. Andy Diouf just hasn't had a lot of opportunities in black and blue. I don't think he's even started a game yet, but he hasn't made much of an impact. We've given him several chances. I've seen him come on in several games, and he hasn't really made much of an impact. I mean, I think he's scored one goal all season. Has only had one goal contribution the entire campaign. He's a player who I feel the potential is there. I mean, he's still very young, and I feel the potential for him to succeed is there, but he's definitely made a much slower start to life at Inter. And when you join these big clubs, you really have to hit the ground running, and he's more just hit the ground. So I really hope that he stays quite a while and genuinely improves, because I feel that there is some quality there. I still feel he might have something to contribute to the team, and I feel that he can, even though he's made a slow start, I still feel he can do better at this club. So I'd say my sort of rookie disappointment for the season will be Andy Diouf. Maybe he'll prove me wrong at the end of the campaign, who knows, but he hasn't really started very well at this club so far. My flop of the season, especially amongst the more senior players, would actually be, I mean, Marcus Thuram is there. I mean, for the last 2 seasons he's been around, Marcus Thuram has been an absolute goal-getter. I mean, him and Lautaro Martinez have hooked up so well, but I mean, this season he's fallen off a cliff. But the one player I want to focus on here is Nicolo Barella. I mean, Nicolo Barella has been an absolute star for Inter over the last couple of years. He was a star of our last 2 Scudetto title wins. He was a star in our 2 really deep UCL runs, making it to the final in 23 and 25. He's been one of the stars of Italy's national teams despite all of their flounderings. He's been one of the shining lights, but this season he seems like he's checked out. He's not just, forget even lacking sorts of impact, I feel at times he gets the attitude that he's basically checked out, that he just doesn't enjoy playing for the club anymore, and you can tell that in his form. It seems very lackadaisical, doesn't make much of an impact in certain games. He's passing, definitely what he used to be good at is not working anymore, and it's starting to be on the detriment of the team. And I mean, he gave a really good interview a few weeks ago, and that really would allude to some of the past failures at Inter. I mean, that have still hurt him. I mean, not just at Inter, but for Italy as well, where he lost the Youth World Cup final, a cup in 2023. He got injured and missed out on the Youth World Cup final in Argentina, the Europa League final defeat, the Champions League final defeat, and it's all been sort of weighing on him. And I feel that it's an issue that's not necessarily footballing, but it's mental as well. There's a mental issue, a mental block in Barella and the way he's been playing. And I feel that the club really, and I really hope that he's getting whatever help he's getting, whether it's external from the outside or internal from the club as well, because this is a player who has a lot of talent. So he's probably one of my favorite players, and I rarely have favorite players. He's been one of my favorite players as part of this new sort of era at Inter. And to see him sort of being a shadow of his former self this season has been quite sad and disappointing to see. And I really do hope that he's getting the help he needs. If it is a sort of mental issue, that he's getting the help that he needs. And I really hope that the club, Kivu, and some of the players are really helping him to get out of this sort of funk he finds himself in, because he is a player of deep talent. We know what he can do. We know how he can change a game in an instant, and I really hope that he will be able to return to that form, or something like the Barella of old, and it can lead us to the end of the season where there's so much on the line for us. So where to from here? What lies in the future of the Nerazzurri? Well, like I said, we're top of the league with a 6-point gap, but we are still some pretty big potholes on the way to that 21st Scudetto. I mean, we face Roma, our first game back from internationals, and then we face Como, two sides who are challenging for Champions League, two sides that really seem to be looking on the up and up, and two sides that can be real relative banana skins for an Inter team that really have been struggling for positive vibes, for positive moments, have really been struggling for positivity in the team in terms of our play, in terms of our play style, and even in terms of our results. We also again face, like I said again, we face Como again in the Coppa semi-finals. And the Coppa Italia is still first I'll mention the Coppa Italia. The Coppa Italia, considering who's left, Inter are favourites to win the Coppa. But it will still be pretty complicated if we make the final. If we see past Como and make it to the Coppa final, it'll still be a very complicated final. We either face Atalanta, which will probably be in their third Coppa final in 7 years, and many would feel third or fourth final, I think, in 7 years, and it still feel like a side that's almost due a Coppa Italia trophy. That will be a very challenging final in Rome, if possible, if we get there. Or we could face Lazio, and essentially that turns into an away game, because the Coppa final will be at the Olimpico, Lazio's home. So that game might as well be played as an away game, and that has all the complications of the cup final. So but with our pedigree, especially in recent years in the Coppa Italia, having won it back-to-back, having gotten really deep, and with our pedigree, many would feel we're still favourites to bring the Tricolore home. So it'd still be very important, but it would be also very much goes hand in hand with Serie A. Like I mentioned, we have Roma and Como as our next two games, two very important games, but we still have the likes of Lazio and even Bologna or Parma could be potential banana skins for the Nerazzurri. And with the Nerazzurri's form, winless in 3, very fragile at that point, and a lot of negative sort of, should I say, energy around the club so far, especially based on our form. We're missing a lot of top guys. Lautaro Martinez has had his injury issues. We've had Çalhanoğlu as well, has had injury issues as well. A lot of our influential midfielders and some players that are really just out of form. Those games turn into real potential banana skins. And with Milan, they're picking up momentum as well. I mean, a derby win will do that for you, but they're starting to pick up momentum as well. They're starting to pick up points as well. And they've also, with Max Allegri, have started the habits of winning games by the bare minimum. They're not really an insane side, but they're winning games by the bare minimum. And I feel that's going to be very, very difficult for us. It's going to be very, very important for us going on later into the competition, later into the two competitions. We can still win the double. It is still there. If Inter can build a head of steam, if we can somehow go past Roma and Como and build a head of steam, then I feel the championship is all but won. I mean, it's still in our own hands, but we have to get our best guys on the pitch, and we really have to improve in some of the moments where we feel very flattened. We really have to start getting that fight back. We need to start getting a sort of that fight and that sort of stubbornness back that we've been missing these last few games. We need to get that back. And if we can, because the title is still in our own hands, it's still 6 points. Heading to this part of the season, it's still in our own hands, and we need to start wrestling the momentum back into our part into this title picture. For the Copa semi-final, I mean, we have the experience, we have the pedigree. We know the other three teams left in the cup are all very, very difficult sides. They're all sides that will present their own sort of challenges and complications in the Coppa Italia. But I feel if we can get some form going, if we can really get some momentum going in the league, then I definitely feel it will bleed onto the cup, and we'll be able to get to the cup final and maybe bring home the Coppa Italia. The double is still there. It's still possible. But still, we have to up the momentum. We have to up the momentum. We have to get the momentum back. We have to get that fight and show that character again that makes us Inter. And hopefully at the end of the season, it will be a fantastic end to the season and a historic end to the season, which will bring us so much joy. But still, a lot has to happen. It's still a very, very difficult road for the players, for the squad, and even for us, the supporters. But the only real thing we can do now is to just strap in, support the boys. Hopefully we make the right decisions and the right calls. And if we do so, all of our dreams can come true and can still have a very, very wonderful season at the end of it. And that's it. That's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for sticking around. You're an absolute warrior. If you have, please sound off in the comments. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Am I speaking absolute truth, or am I absolutely waffling? I mean, please sound off in the comments on what are your opinions, or what do you think we've gotten right or wrong so far, and what are your expectations for Inter from now till the end of the season. If you guys have stuck around, please don't forget to like, to share, and subscribe, and all the other wonderful, amazing stuff. It's been an absolute joy talking black and blue with you guys. And until then, till the next time, it's been your boy, the Football Otaku, and never forget, real football always wins. Check you on the flip side. Deuces. Bye bye.